Bro, what the fuck? Whoa!
Yeah. Babe. Yeah. Hey. I just wanna touch the top. Baby said that she in love and she don't love the lie. Been chillin' with all the bros, I've been above the spot. Shawty said that things change, well it does a lot. Hey, watching out the payment, man, the sun is high. Yeah, lost inside the heart, but it's emerging right. I've been out the way and I'm good. I can find my home. Everything I said it was is not. Yeah, Jamaica, how you layin'? Yeah, you ain't say no, what you saying, baby? I lost you, but who's paying? Don't know why you hit my phone, why you playing? Yeah, I can't handle it without the trusting. Yeah, I can see the top, I wanna touch it. Yeah, yeah, we been getting money, no discussion. I don't let the top of shorty always get the fussy. Yeah, hey, I like the cruise on it. Say she like the way I sound and how I groove on them. I been steady dodging bullets, how I move on them. But he talking out his neck and not a crew on them. Yeah, and I'm sliding. Shawty like the vibe, don't want the ride to end. Yeah, right. To the nice end, yeah. To the nice end. I can always keep the cool, I'm never fighting. Man, our love was all the cake without the icing. Now I found new love, different pricing. And it won't cost my soul, no devices. Yeah, I ain't got a plan for it, I'm the man for it. Still the Brody couldn't stand for it, it's very important. I've been off the edge, I've been feeling the wind blowing. I can lose my head and my heart, but they been gone. I just hit the head of stairs when it's dead time. I just lost promises, I regret mine. I just get a lot of love on the west side. I'm the GOAT, but I would never be the best guy. You might take me out of business like I'm Best Buy. Talk about the go to maybe soon, I know that's right. Yeah. Talk about the go to maybe soon, I know that's right. Thinking about the future, looking good and it's the best side. I remember.
Welcome back to Rob the Tide Sports Podcast, Season 3, Episode 59. We missed you last week, which means we have an absolute shit ton of news to get into this week. The NBA playoffs are in full fucking effect. So are the NHL playoffs, as well as the MLB season. UFC is also popping off. NFL's popping off. Draft lottery's popping off. There is so much that's happened in the past 2 weeks, and all four of the boys are here to bring it to you. We got McDilly, we got Tycho, we have Luke, and we have the Wanderer. And as much as I'd love to, ask how the boys are doing, we got a lot of shit to get into, so I say we just get right into it.
Yeah, let's just get right into it. But I will say, doing good.
Glad to hear it.
Yes, of course. We'll start off today with some NHL news, kicking it off with the Yotes, doing some pre-playoff news here. The Coyotes' new arena was rejected. There were 3 different proposals. All 3 struck out. What does this mean? This means they're playing the 2023-2024 NHL season still in Mullet Arena, sharing it with Arizona State hockey team, and yet again not being able to fill up stands. I mean, granted, if they even did get it approved, it was not going to be done next year anyways. But this is just another year of a setback, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
It ain't looking pretty for them. It's because it sucks because you can't even start like truly setting down a foundation to get that new arena. So you just got to sit there with blueprints.
I want to know how Luke feels about this. Very interested.
Hey man, we're getting the mullet magic back next season, so I'm okay with it.
Oh,
That's kind of how I feel, if I'm being honest. I'm not mad at this. If they were like, hey, the Coyotes, their shit was unapproved and they're going to be playing somewhere else next year, I'd be pissed because I'd be like, why would you stay at Mullet? But the fact that they're still at Mullet, last year when they played at Mullet, the crowds were good and they won hockey games. So it's not really a bad thing for them, but you would have had a pretty damn nice stadium in Arizona that's now not being built. That's the only thing that kind of sucks.
Well, I think they just go right to somewhere new now. I'm not sure where it's going to be, but I guess you just got to keep looking. But that's all we got for non-playoff news. So let's talk about playoffs. So
Playoffs.
Eastern Conference Finals are set. It'll be the Florida Panthers taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. Dylan, let's talk about how they got there. Carolina, what did they do?
Well, Carolina came out and they kindly did exactly what Luke said that they were going to do, and that was basically take New Jersey, and whoever they were going to face, New Jersey was going to get their ass beat coming off how they played the first series. They came into the next series against Carolina, and they got their ass beat. I believe Carolina had a gentleman's sweep. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're correct.
Yeah, so they had a gentleman's sweep on them, and they absolutely mopped them. 3 of those games I saw they weren't really competitive, and it seems like Carolina is, in my opinion, one of the front runners. But the problem is, you look over at Florida and you look at the teams that they've taken out. They look at Toronto, who most years you would say, okay, it doesn't mean shit, but the fact that they won a playoff series for the first time in 15 years, 19 years is credible, and they beat Boston, who won the Vezina. So I think this, in my opinion, is going to be the best series because both teams have a lot of credibility to their playoff run right now.
Yeah, I mean, Florida's been rolling. Sergei Bobrovsky's being a fucking stud in the net. They did a good job shutting down the 4 main core of Toronto. Matthews didn't do shit. Like they might have. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they might have had a combined core 4, a total of like fucking 7 points the whole series.
Yeah, that was a stat.
Which
7
is
points.
absolutely brutal. And, another day, another dollar where the Leafs get eliminated from the playoffs, But, I mean, it's not like Florida's coming into this not fighting their ass off, and they're playing some of the best hockey they have all season. And that's good coming against Carolina. They might be able to catch Carolina sleeping because they just got done with their own ass whooping, which was basically pretty easy against New Jersey. Seems like New Jersey could only win games when their opponent was playing the worst hockey of the season against them, which the Canes haven't had with the game that they won. The Canes haven't looked that bad. That was probably the worst game they've played all year round. Like they haven't even had a game that bad in regular season. And it just seems like that was just the characteristic of New Jersey to win games, was just to rely on their opponent to lose it for them, or to basically win the game for New Jersey. And then they got their ass stomped. So, Carolina might be a little, they could get caught off guard, but, they're a good team. They could just keep on rolling. And I expect this to be a very good series.
My bad, I'm muted. Any of you two got anything on this, Ty or Jess?
I think it's going to be a good series, but that's really it. Honestly, I had Carolina last year. Didn't feel like following them this year. Good for them. Maybe I
Way to
could
hop off the train.
I don't know. I'll find out. But
Might have been a mistake.
Florida,
I might as well
I'm
just.
hoping they fight
Right.
tough.
We're both wearing red, Ty. I mean, we didn't even plan this BioSteel thing, but
No. By the way, BioSteel, sponsor us. But with that being said, I think this is going to be a good series. Florida obviously is proving that, last year was a fluke. They were supposed to win it last year, but they fucked up and got the President's Trophy curse. So then they, kindly passed that on to Boston and then kicked the shit out of Toronto. So, I mean, fair enough. You made it this far. You might as well make it to the Stanley Cup like you didn't do last year. But Carolina, also a team that didn't make a run last year, are making a run this year. It's two really good Eastern Conference teams. And honestly, the Eastern Conference is so good. Like, the top teams in the Eastern Conference fell to these guys, right? And, like, honestly, if I asked you in the beginning of the season if Florida and Carolina were going to be playing for the Eastern Conference Championship, I don't think anyone would have told me I was correct.
But nobody's.
I don't know.
So that makes this better for me.
But at the
I
same
only
time,
slightly
nobody's bad at it.
I only slightly disagree with that, because I did say at just before playoffs started, if there was one team in this entire playoffs that would be extremely dangerous to play if get matched up, or if they made it, it was the Florida Panthers.
You didn't say
Because
both
of
of them.
Well, Carolina was top
Well, this was
notch
right
all
before.
season
This was
long.
right before. This was right before the playoffs. You said this. I remember this.
It was when
Yeah,
it was
you
getting to the
said nobody
final race
said
of the
both
wild.
teams. He said one team.
Okay,
I'm just
yeah,
talking
but it
about
was
my personal surprise factor. He's talking about
because of
something else.
the more surprise is probably more pointed towards Florida instead of Carolina because Carolina's been dominant all season long.
I agree
Florida,
with that. I'm not taking your credibility away. I'm just saying what Tyler's statement was.
Well, Florida learned, Luke.
Florida
They
did
learned
learn.
not to be dominant in the regular season. They learned to just get in with just enough wins to not have the President's Trophy, stay off the radar, and then we're gonna put foot to the gas and we're gonna gut you. So Eastern Conference
Yep.
Finals, that's where we're at. Also, Sergei Bobrovsky, this is an insane fucking stat and something
What
that
the fuck
is
is wrong with
like
this guy,
messed
man?
up. I have no idea what's going on. But Dylan, go ahead.
So Sergei Bobrovsky, for those of you who don't know, plays goalie for the Florida Panthers. Luke just shouted him out a second ago. But the man has lost over 20 pounds in game 5 alone and is currently losing about 15 plus pounds every game that he plays. And if you look at the photo from right before playoffs started to now, the man looks a little bit different. You know, he went from looking a little bit. I know there's pads and chest protectors and everything with that with goalies, but he looks definitely.
He looks
more
like
slim.
like his name's like Chipper Dale or something.
Yeah. So Sergey has lost
This,
an insane amount of weight, and it's just
Walking
off of
around the
playing
farm.
goalie.
I'm gonna be honest. This may be extremely shocking to a lot of non-big hockey fans, but this is kind of somewhat normal for goalies because how much they play in games. So like they tend to lose a lot of weight during the game. And especially when it comes playoff time, they don't really have a lot of time to really regain that weight.
I've never seen this before. I've never seen someone lose. I think they said over 50 or 60 pounds so far just in the playoffs. Like that's insane.
It might be a little drastic on being it might be he might be losing the most, but I will say this is somewhat normal for goalies.
I would expect to lose weight over time, but I feel like this much, this
Bro,
quick.
if you Google Sergei Bobrovsky, it says he's 190 on Google.
Jesus.
Cap now. Now it's a cap.
I don't know why,
If
but
they
I
if they
feel like
took the weight of all the goalies, you'd probably be pretty shocked at how much weight a lot of goalies lose, especially come playoff time and how much they have to play.
I believe you on the fact that they probably do lose weight, but I feel like it's still not normal to burn this much this quick. That's just me. Unless you got a lot to burn.
Can you
Who knows?
imagine how
He could be
hungry you
heavy
are after the
meals.
game, bro?
You know what I mean?
He
could be
probably
grubbing.
smashes.
Probably does, because he knows
Yeah.
he's gonna burn those calories.
And you also got to think it's not like regular
Wow.
season too, where they go play the game sometimes a couple days in a row, but then usually tend to get more rest during the regular season than you do playoffs because you're trying to just play the best. Whoever's hot, just play.
Right, and you know you're
But,
probably playing every other.
In regular season, you go play, you go eat, get the calories back in you, and then you go work out a lot more. In playoffs, you're probably, there's probably still some workouts, but you're probably not working out as hard during the playoffs as you would in regular season to keep up.
Definitely.
To
All
regain
right.
that muscle.
Luke, take us into this next one. Western Conference.
You know, I feel like it's been a long time in the hockey playoffs where we've had two very, very good conference finals on both sides. And I feel like all these four teams that are in it are going to give a good ride. And we might not even, we might see both these series go into game 6 or 7 because Vegas and Dallas is playing really good. Knights are also playing really good. They're not, the Knights have just been fighting against the Oilers all season long, and then they took in Dallas. It wasn't an easy ride for them either because the Kraken were a pretty big shock. I don't think anyone was too shocked off because of what they did in the regular season, but at the same time, a lot of people were more shocked because how new their franchise is.
Yeah.
But Dallas fought them off, and it was a hard-fought victory, especially in Game 7. With a 20-year-old getting the second, he just turned 20, I think, the day before, then got a series clinching goal as being 20, and I'm pretty sure he got the series I'm pretty sure he got the series clinching goal in round 1 for Dallas too. So that's back-to-back series clinchers for a 20-year-old. 19 at the time, the first one. But I expect
DeBoer's
this one
7-0,
to
motherfucker.
right.
In game sevens, this head coach piece of shit. I had money on
And
the Kraken.
I expect nothing less out of what we've been seeing from all four of these teams, especially these two. This is going to be a very hard fought series. This is probably going to go the length where there's a good chance we see a game 6 or 7 out of this series and the other series.
Yeah, I'm in a weird boat. I'm so split on Dallas because on one hand, I'm like, okay, he's putting up so many fucking points. He's got like 9 goals. Joe Pavelski's got 6 goals, and they got people on here, including their goaltender, that are playing great. And then I look at them, and then I can also say, okay, they beat a Kraken team who this is their first time ever making the playoffs in a second-year franchise, and then they beat a Minnesota team who was notorious for losing in the first round. So I'm so split on these guys. And then I go over to Vegas, and I just feel like every year when they go into the playoffs, they let their presence be known until they get up to the conference finals. And they'll either lose the conference finals or, like they did with the Capitals, they'll go to the Cup. So I feel like Luke said, that's what makes this a fucking 7-game, 6-game series, and I can see it going either way. I'm pretty split on who the fuck's going to take it. I'm pretty split on how this is going to go, but I think it's going to be really competitive, and it could go either way.
Yeah, no, like honestly speaking, for both these series, each team has been fighting hard and playing really good. There's always that one team that makes it this far that's like, you kind of look at them, it's like, oh, they've got pretty lucky and they've had pucks bounce their way. And that's how they kind of got in the spot, then end up seeing a little domination in one of the conference finals. But I don't think that is going to be anywhere near the case because I feel like all 4 teams have fought their ass off and have been grinding and absolutely more than earned their spot in the conference finals this year. So I think we're going to get 2 insanely good series.
We deserve it.
And yeah.
Dallas took out the team I had that was going to be here. So for the fact that I have no ties to either of these teams, I'm personally going to be taking Dallas. But boy, oh boy, do I think it's going to be a good series.
I know
Look,
you're going to
as long
watch
as the
every
Vegas
game of this
Golden
series,
Knights
Jesse.
live, as long as they live, Jake and that big gold glitter jersey lives as well. So it is what it is. Hopefully he doesn't put a trophy next to it.
That being said, I'd love to see it.
It's honestly like it's time for Vegas to be in the cup and win the cup. It would be nice because they keep getting there and they're this close every time and then they fall short. So
What's crazy
it would be nice to see.
What's crazy is we talk about Vegas like they've been doing this and they're what, a 5th-year franchise?
Yeah, but they have been doing
It's
this.
insane. That's insane.
That's the craziest part.
We
talk about them like they have been doing this because they have been.
They
right.
built great from the start.
But like, who had a Dallas and Florida slip this year? Anybody put that down at the beginning of the year? Dallas and Florida in the cup? Because that could be.
Well, here's the thing. Obviously I had Florida beating the Boston, but then I had the good old favorites Tampa Bay against Florida, and I was just like, the fandom in me, I'm taking Tampa. Always taking Tampa and like all that. So I had Tampa moving on, but my second, if I picked Florida to move on, I probably would have had them go to the finals.
But won that series.
But I had Dallas in the finals from the start, and they're my last chance to get points on bracket, so I'm gonna need them to advance.
Gonna have to. All right, that's all we got for hockey. So we'll dive back into some NBA. But hold on. It looks like the Seattle Slacken didn't make the cut. Hey, Dylan. I have to say, it was a great series to watch. Seattle put up some good gameplay this season.
Didn't we just go 7 games in the second round in a second-year series while the Minnesota Wild have been continuously slacking in the playoffs for 9 years in a row? What are you talking about, Fuller? Your team is garbage.
Don't get me, that's true.
Right now, you're in a fucking Detroit Red Wings at the end of the 25-year spot. But you know what? At the end of our 25 years, we had cups. You know what you guys are? You're at a fucking run right now of 9 years, not doing anything in the playoffs, not winning any cups, and not winning any playoff series. So talk to me when you guys not only get out of the first round, but get to a conference Finals.
Gone forever, Aaron Hernandez. I will say, that being said, I hate when everyone brings up points. Oh, they're a new franchise.
Their
Like,
second year.
yeah, that's true. But the players on the team are not second years in the league. They're vets. They have some young guys. They have vets. They have people who've played in the playoffs. So it's not like
But Luke,
it's
when
just
you
new
had as
organization.
bad of a year as they did last year, to 180 that this year is kind of wild.
Yeah, because they changed spots. They got
Correct.
more guys who've played in playoff and have playoff experience.
Yeah, they
So
made the
then
right changes and it worked. But the thing is that no matter how you put it, if you have a team for 2 years and you have a team that has been in the league for, I don't know how long Minnesota's been in the fucking league, but I'm going to go on a limb here and say it's been a pretty long time. Has Minnesota won a cup?
No, I mean, they always fall short in there.
So they're on par with
But
Seattle.
I'm not arguing the whole fact that they're on the same bar. I'm just arguing the fact that I hate when people bring up the whole new franchise bullshit, because it's not like the players on the team have only been in the league as long as the team has been. It's like they have other guys in the league.
I agree with where you're coming from, but at the same time, where else are you going to get the players from? Like, that's just how every new franchise works. That's what I'm saying.
Like, I just don't like the argument, because it really is a meaningless argument, because you have a bunch of guys on the team who've had playoff experience. It's not even like it's
but
like
the team chemistry is at zero.
Like, you look at New Jersey Devils. You look at the New Jersey Devils. They're an extremely young team with barely any playoff experience, and it showed. Seattle had a decent amount of playoff experience on their team from the players just playing in the league and being on other teams and getting there, and they had them on their team. I'm not discounting the moves they made, because they made the right moves to get those guys to be in the spots that they were. So it's good on the management, but I'm also saying the whole players and how the team played has no effect on how new the organization is. And that's what I just don't like about the whole new organization argument.
I get it, but it is what it is. I have few arguments with Seattle, and that's going to be one of the arguments until, they're in the Vegas standpoint. I can't make that argument with Vegas anymore.
I will now also cut in and say that the Minnesota Mild started in 2000, Dylan.
Damn, so that's 23 years of just being
I am older, and Luke is older than the Minnesota Wild.
You hear that, Fuller? 23.
Fuller's also older than the Minnesota Wild.
Middle of the road, middle of the pack.
And also in recent, after the whole Vegas thing and now Kraken, it's like the whole new expansion draft is basically building teams so they can compete at least mid to high level in the league.
Yeah, I kind of realized that.
But that is also like kind of what you have to do, because right off the rip, you have like all the dog shit players. You're not going to be filling up stadiums. You're not going to be making money off the $1 billion stadium that you built to play those games in. So you kind of have to have a good product. So I'm not surprised that Vegas and Seattle, with the way especially the way the NHL is set up for expansion teams, I'm not surprised at the fact that they're making playoff pushes and stuff like that. It's kind of easy to just snag some good NHL vets and stuff and just plug them together. Even though in the beginning we all thought Seattle completely botched it, which they did.
Well, they botched it for the start because they didn't build it like the Vegas, but they more played for the long term instead of the short term. Vegas played for the short term, and Seattle played for the long term because they got a shit ton of salary cap space, and they were able to make the moves that they were able to do to get the team that they currently have.
Mm-hmm. They'll be good for probably longer than Vegas's run will last. But hey, I mean, Vegas could be a destination for free agents, and they might just keep this train rolling. I don't know. We'll find out, but we have more to get into. So we'll be right back, and then we're going to do some NBA for you guys. Wait, maybe not. One more thing.
Oh,
You're
my
right,
God.
Dylan. Minnesota needs to get themselves together, but just needed to give a little jab. That's all. It's all in good fun.
Stop being so nice, Fuller. Fucking strike me back. Punch me back.
Come on.
You're too nice.
Give him some fire.
I tried to cut in a little.
What's going on, guys? Tyco here, taking a quick break in the action to tell you about sixpackcoverage.com. You can go on there and check out all your favorite sports, finance, food and travel, fitness, and entertainment podcasts. They've got it all on there, as well as content from all of your favorite colleges, with more on the way and more added every day. So make sure you check that out, as well as the merchandise tab. Be sure to get all of your six-pack coverage gear at the merch tab there with the hats, flags, all that good stuff. Make sure you guys check it out today, sixpackcoverage.com.
Tyler, I just want to let you know we can't hear you, but we know what you said.
I know. Okay. All right, we're back. NBA news. Let's get into it. First things
All right, big
first.
boy.
Last night, NBA lottery. The Pistons, who had the worst record in the league, fall 5 fucking spots, and we're drafting 5th.
Well, they didn't fall 5. They technically fell 2. They were supposed to get a top 3. That was guaranteed.
Yes, but when they showed the top 3, what was the first team on the list? Us.
I always just saw the 3 tied. But
they were tied for percentages, but we were the worst team.
We were guaranteed a top 3 pick, and there was a
we were
pretty
guaranteed
high
a top
certainty
5 pick.
for the feeling in the air that we were going to get top 2. And we fell to 5.
Yes. But you're not correct in saying we were guaranteed a top 3 pick. We were guaranteed a top
the best
5 pick.
odds for the top 3 pick.
Yes.
That's what I meant.
But we fall to 5.
Correct.
And now the
Yeah,
pick
we
is
fall to
essentially
5.
worth nothing. And yeah. Jesse, what do you got?
Honestly, first guy who gets picked, usually the best. Second guy who gets picked, controversial to the first. Third person who gets picked, he's a dog, could be a dog, but there's a reason he wasn't second or first.
We know who the
let's
first
just go over it. We already know
we
who
already
the first
know
three
who
are.
the
We know who it is.
are.
All right, Jesse.
Yeah.
Wembanyama goes 1.
Yup.
Right?
Uh-huh.
2, Scoot Henderson.
Yup.
G League. Yep. 3, Brandon Miller. Yep. Alabama.
4, Amen Thompson.
Done.
Okay.
There's your draft.
There's 4. Then we're on the clock at 5. And then you know
Here's what you got to do.
I say,
Here's what you got to
fuck
do.
the NBA, because all the people I wanted are 1, 2, 3, and 4. Fuck! This happened when the Red Wings had the worst draft in the league, and we fell the fucking out of the top 3, and then the Pistons are in the same spot, and we fall to 5. They say Detroit versus everybody, but it really is. It's unfucking believable.
It is unbelievable. But what's more unbelievable is that for the 3rd consecutive time in a row after the Spurs franchise had gone to shit, they get another generational talent.
Yeah. Take your fucking David Robinson, center, Tim Duncan, center. Oh, the next big fucking center Wembanyama's coming into the league. Where does he go? To Popovich and the Spurs. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
They just want Greg to coach till he's 100, win a ring while he's 100 years old. That's what they want.
Yeah, let's go put Wembanyama with the fucking old gray, black, and white color scheme. That's going to go sell a bunch of fucking jerseys. That's a real fun team to go to. Who's he got? Keldon Johnson and Tyrus Jones. He'll request a trade in 2 years. Fuck that shit, bro. God, man.
Jesse, how do you feel about Wemby on the Spurs? And the Spurs getting the number 1 pick as well.
I really do hate it.
Like, it had to be the Spurs.
Spurs are so boring. They're the most boring team in the league, no matter if they're good or bad.
I would rather watch.
I'd rather have seen them I would rather have seen them go to Charlotte.
Because then you could at least hype up LaMelo and Wemby.
That would have been fire, but it is what it is.
This is where we were at, Jesse.
Obviously.
This is where we were at. We had the Pistons. We would have been hyped. Okay. Then he falls to, obviously, we didn't want Houston because fuck them. They fall out of the top 3. We're happy. I'm looking at, you're going to get Damon Wembanyama or LaMelo and Wembanyama. I was like, either one I'm happy with. And then he fell to fucking San Antonio. Oh, great. Now he's going to have to be the only player there. And Keldon Johnson, 17 points per game is what he's going to have to work with. I need to calm down.
And let's be real here, bro. Wemby needs to learn how to lift some weights for sure. He's going to need those. He's going to get
Chad
bodied.
Holmgren himself if he's not fucking careful.
Yeah, he might get bodied.
All right. Let's talk about something that put you maybe in a better mood. Oh, never mind.
Who do you look at around the league as you're studying and say, we're going to have to run through them?
Celtics.
No one in the West.
No. I'm fine in the West.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
A better move. I'm just gonna say this, and then I'm gonna let you fly, Jesse. Okay. Ja Morant and his buddy were once again on Instagram Live. Ja Morant is potentially looking to be suspended for at least half a season or more, according to league executives. This is the second time Ja Morant has flashed a gun on Instagram Live with the same friend he flashed it with last time after Ja said he went to treatment, and this is a new Ja Morant that you will be seeing. We tend to see the same Ja Morant.
I've never watched somebody set themselves up for failures.
You know what's crazy, bro? He doesn't
This
even
is-
realize
this is
there's
it.
people in the hood that want to be like him. Why do you want to be like them? They want to be like you. They're looking up to you. They want to be the next Ja, and you want to be the next Thug. Why?
Like I said, I wish there was like an evil twin that was just doing all this to try and ruin his name, but there isn't. It doesn't exist. He's just an idiot. He's just a dumbass. That's plain cut and dry. Like, you know what you're doing, and if you really moved like that, you wouldn't feel the need to show that lifestyle because no nigga who lives that lifestyle wants to. There is. Don't get me wrong, but not when you're in the NBA. John Wall did his thing of throwing up signs during the game. We didn't see Russ accidentally crip walk. Shit, he wasn't on no thug shit, but Allen Iverson was getting his dreads retwisted.
No, okay, yes, but this is
all
different.
this shit.
They weren't going up and holding up guns.
But that's what I mean.
They weren't pulling fucking irons out on Instagram Live. And at the same time, when you have a buddy, this is the only thing I'm gonna say about the friend, okay? If you have Ja Morant rocking with you, he's fucking with you, you're in the whip with him, just you two, you're cool like that, you don't need to flex it. You don't need to show everybody every time on Instagram Live, I'm with Ja. If he's rocking with you and he's fucking with you, that should be enough. And on top of it, when it comes to Ja, my thing is, turn off Youngboy. Because this is twice now, that motherfucker got you feeling some type of way. I understand. I listened to a Young Thug album, walk around and call somebody slime by accident. Shit happens. If you listen to music, it will have the influence on you. But when you're driving around listening to Youngboy, if that shit's making you want to fuck kill, okay, either A, turn off Youngboy, or B, don't record yourself. Because I understand music's going to have influence over people. That's just how life is. But there's no reason to A, videotape it, or B, make it about you wanting to kill people. That's just how I look at it.
He just moved stupid. And his friend ain't even really there for him. He really his ops because there's no reason you would sit here and record. You know your homie got caught with you the last time. Had to sit out. You think nothing else gonna happen the second time and you're doing it a second time? He with the wrong person.
Correct. And I think that all of his groupies need to fucking let him know what's really going on, because right now it is not a parade inside my city. Yeah, let's just say that.
You just made the list!
You mean parade inside my city? Yeah.
It's a parade inside my city. That motherfucker going to jail. If you don't stop. All right. Now, I'm trying to cool down. And I have another rant coming into my fucking head.
Let me go first.
Last night.
Let me go first.
So you go crazy.
Hold on. Listen, Doc Rivers might be the most losing coach in Game 7s that we've ever seen. He might always choke, but I'm pretty sure it's due to his players and the fact that he did the Clippers. He never had his guys healthy for Game 7. And here he didn't have players playing like they normally play and turned into utter trash cans. But jeez.
So let's fire Doc.
I don't know if he should have lost his job. I don't know if he should have lost his job.
And then B wants to, I'm about to go. And B wants to go out there and shoot 5 for 18. And Harden wants to drop 9 points. And then B wants to talk about hey, man, we ain't getting no damn help out there. Fuck you mean no damn help? You shot 5 for 19. And you're a center. You're right under the goddamn basket. Not half of your shots, you dunked, and you fucking were 5 for 18. Harden, he was supposed to be the most clutch player in playoff history when he was on the Rockets. Second he left the Rockets, he sucks. Who the
fuck is that guy?
He has a couple good games in the playoffs, and everyone's looking at Harden like, what is he going to do, in the must-win game? How is Harden going to come out? He's going to drop 3 for 11, and he's going to go out and put up 9 points. That's what he's going to do. And what are the 76ers going to do? They're going to fire Doc Rivers. Oh, the Suns in their must-win game are going to have one game where they suck, and let's fire Monty Williams, who transitioned the whole fucking organization from a team nobody cared about to a team that's been to the playoffs 4 straight years and has been to a fucking NBA championship one of those years. My problem is I feel like NBA coaches are getting fired right now that shouldn't because the players are fucking playing sorry. That's just me. And it's kind of pissing me off.
Yep.
I understand the arguments, but
sorry for that noise in the background.
I feel like, dude, I just feel like the players are playing sorry and the coaches are paying the price for it. And it sucks. Now, are there coaches like that should be fired? Yes. But what I'm saying is that if the players are playing sorry and we're just going to fire the coaches, well, those players are probably still going to continue to play sorry. And Embiid was putting up 33 points in the playoffs last year. He's putting up 21 this year, okay? That's not Doc's fault, okay? Maxey was non-existent in the playoffs.
Maybe they feel Doc was running bad plays that were causing them to be in bad situations and miss shots.
Well, I think that whatever they're thinking is it's going to fucking prove me right or prove me wrong very shortly. That's all I think. Andre Iguodala has officially announced his retirement after 19 years in the NBA. When I first saw this, I said, holy shit, that's crazy that Iggy has done as much as he's done. But when you really look back at it, he's a 4-time NBA champ. He's a 1-time finals MVP. Don't forget that. He has 7 finals appearances. He's a 1-time All-Star, a 2-time All-Defensive Player, and a 1-time Olympic gold medalist. So shout out to Andre Iguodala for 19 years in the NBA. I mean, who do you want? I want Iguodala.
Aliens.
It's pretty simple.
Beams pointed at the planet. You need 1, 3. I want Iguodala.
You want that clutch boy, but shout out to Iguodala.
Man said, fate of the universe on the line.
That's always going to be the greatest quote.
Hey, man. Got to give it up for Iguodala. All right. Now I believe we can officially move into the playoffs. So we have the last thing that we kind of just talked about, kind of just went over it. The Celtics dismantled the Philadelphia 76ers in Game 7. It was competitive until
Jason Tatum for them
put up 51 points and decided it wasn't. Curry dropped 50
You know what
in Game
happened?
7. Curry dropped 50 points in Game 7 and said, this is a confident record. This shit won't be broken. Tatum went into the next Game 7 and dropped 51.
Jason Tatum was chilling, and he heard that reporter. I mean, not the reporter. Max Coward, I think his name is, or Max Cowherd, something like that.
Coward.
He said that Jason Tatum wasn't a Kobe, a LeBron. He wasn't one of those players that can take over the game and start scoring like that. Jaylen Brown.
Which is an absurd statement already.
In the next day, Tatum comes out and gives 51 points in a Game 7.
51 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists. Put the team on his back. And he quite literally said, everybody go fuck themselves.
Bro, I bet Hurt put money on fucking Boston and then said all that shit to piss him off. Kind of smart.
Maybe he did. But when it comes over to the Miami side, I feel like if they had, listen to me, okay? Listen to me. They had a healthy squad. The injuries were not where they were. I'd be feeling a lot differently. Okay? But because I am looking at this and I see Jimmy Butler going out there and dropping 40, 50 points a game and it not being enough, and everyone being like, damn, if only Hero and Oladipo and these other people were fucking there, it would be a different story. But Boston has too much talent right now with Tatum.
Exactly what happened to him in Philly. He cannot. Every team he goes to has people getting injured when he needs them. He will be the last man standing and tough it out for as long in a series he can. But he'll never have as much help as he needs. Ever.
I think that it sucks because Jimmy is a dog. All right? He's a fucking bucket. He's Jimmy Buckets. This is what he does. And I feel bad for him because he's in a different spot as I feel like Dame. Because they're both elite hoopers, right? But Dame's problem in my head is he always had the help, but the help wasn't always enough. You know what I mean? They wouldn't get injured.
He had
but
fake help.
Exactly. He didn't have any help really. Whereas
He had those SpongeBob arms, the muscle arms that actually couldn't lift any weight, but they were blown up.
Exactly. You were thinking that they could do shit and they would do nothing. Whereas Jimmy would go over to teams like Minnesota, Chicago, and you would have like a group lined up, Philly, just for shit to go wrong, people to get injured, and it all fall apart. So they're in that same boat where they're both elite hoopers and everything goes astray. But
He should have came to LA.
He should have. He really should have. But I feel like in this series, we can all agree. I have Boston in 5 or 6.
5.
I want to say 6 to be nice to Jimmy, but I have Boston in 5.
I don't think Jimmy. I don't think he can do it on his own.
No, I want him to, but
not even for 2 games. I hope he does. That'd be if he could be out here, and there's nobody who can look you straight in your face and say they won this series because of Bam. There will be nobody who makes them win this series besides Jimmy, and he will win it on his.
You might say, hey, Strus and Bam, they stepped up, but you're not going to say that they're the reason they won. I agree 100%.
So he can get it done. He can get it done, but I don't see it.
And then we got to go over to the other series. And after last night, I think that me and Jesse have come to the consensus that there is one team that has the best odds right now to win this shit. And it's the team with Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, and Michael Porter Jr. because the Nuggets are kind of unstoppable right now.
I want to go backwards.
Take me back, Jess.
I'm not letting it slide for the fact that the Nuggets had to beat the Suns to get here.
Correct.
The Lakers had to beat the Warriors to get here.
Yeah, they had to beat Game 6 Clay. And his 5 for fucking what? No, we shot 3 for 19.
Bro, Clay disappeared. But
Game 6 Clay, my ass.
Both those teams lost because they didn't have enough defense anymore. They just didn't. And the Lakers are going to lose this series because they don't have enough defense to handle the Nuggets.
No, AD put up 40 points and got absolutely babied by Jokic. Jokic had 20 rebounds.
Jokic had 19 rebounds when the Lakers had 20.
Jokic hit every single over prop you could possibly have bet on him.
Yep.
That's a fact.
Seriously. And the thing is that we know AD, he's an every other guy. He put up 40 points game 1. He's going to be silent game 2, which means that you're just going to have to rely on LeBron and D'Lo, which probably means you're looking at a Nuggets 2-0.
Don't you disrespect Austin Reeves like that.
I am going to disrespect Austin Reeves because he's not going to be enough to take over the game.
He had 21 last night.
He's not going to – you think Austin Reeves is –
by that, what I mean by that –
You think Austin Reeves is going to be the guy that shuts down Jokic?
What I mean by that is Austin Reeves won them game 5 in their series against the Warriors. What I mean is Austin Reeves has given them consistent amount of points to the degree of D'Lo to where you have to put them together.
Still haven't answered my question yet.
What?
You saying Austin Reeves is going to be the difference maker that shuts down Jokic?
No.
Then I'm not including him. So I'm going to have to say that
D'Lo's going to do that?
None of them can be able to shut down Jokic. If AD and LeBron, who are 7 foot and 6'10", can't shut down Jokic, why are we crediting Austin Reeves? His 20 points aren't going to do shit.
I'm just trying to figure out why you said D'Angelo Russell if that's what you're talking.
Because D'Angelo Russell normally sucks in the playoffs until this year for some reason.
But
He's been at a different
level. No. You just came at me talking about defending Jokic and stopping Jokic. That's not what this conversation is about. But you want to do that?
Oh, that's what I was talking about. I said the people that
need to. What are you talking about D'Angelo Russell for?
The people that are needing to step up and defend Jokic and Jamal.
Oh, he's not going to do shit.
Who the hell guards Jamal Murray, Jesse? D'Angelo Russell. Who the hell guards Jokic, Jesse? LeBron James. Those are the two that
none of them can
step up
guard
on
either.
defense. So why does Austin Reeves come into the defensive equation?
Because he's going to have to guard Jamal or he's going to have to guard MPJ.
And you know what? He's played defensively on MPJ? Nothing really, because MPJ's been balling.
MPJ had a solid night, but he hasn't been balling. It's been one game of the series.
Well, I'm saying in playoffs so far, he's been balling. All 4 of them. They've been, like we said last night, they've been the sneaky 4. They've been the foursome that no one has talked about. Everyone's saying, oh, you need this big 4. They're a big 4. Jamal Murray is a different breed in the playoffs. Jokic is a different breed in general. Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. are not only playing their role, but they're playing some of the best basketball they've played in their entire career of the playoffs. Now, granted, Michael Porter Jr. has only been here 2 years, but still.
No one on the Lakers can guard anyone on the Nuggets. I fully believe that because there's too many mismatches.
I agree. I think it's a shame because I'm over here and I want LeBron to win. He's not going to. I have the Nuggets in 6.
I think the Nuggets are showing why they're the number 1 seed.
I think this is Jokic's best shot at getting a ring. And I think that the Nuggets are the best. Out of the 4 teams, they have the best shot of winning it right now.
Nuggets versus Celtics would be a series. Jesus, it'd be a little boring. Just a little.
But that is what we're looking at right now.
It's gonna get hot.
That is how we're looking at right now. And there's no way that series goes 4 or 5 games. That's gonna go pretty far.
No, it's going 7-6.
Okay. That is the NBA, which means we are probably going to move into either UFC or MLB. Tyler, surprise me.
Sports bettors, you need to download Sharps, the better social network. With Sharps mobile app, you can kill your friends' bets with one click. See a bet you like? Just click the whale tail icon and boom, it will open in your corresponding sportsbook. Sharp securely connects to major sportsbooks like FanDuel, MGM, Caesars, and more, so you can not only track your bets, but share your bets in creative ways. So gather the degens, download Sharps for free, and join our fast-growing sports betting community.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say we're moving. Oh, why do you do that to me? I fully expect that we're going into baseball, and then he hits me with the octagon. We're going to baseball. Okay.
I got put in here. You thought we were gonna go into
I didn't know what this man was doing in my head.
Man, you said to surprise you. I started fucking with you instead.
I didn't know what was going on. All right. So, Tyler, I'm going to let you lead the way because we have shit from last week and this week, so I'll just let you put whatever the fuck you want in whatever order. So, first thing that we have is there was a little bit of beef between the Blue Jays and the Yankees, and we'd love to see that because these two are division rivals, and they're both fucking over 500, and they're both good teams. So, any beef between any competitive teams is beef that we like to cover. Now, here's essentially what happened. In the first game of the series, Aaron Judge hit a home run that the Blue Jays announced team, and everybody thought he was, I want to say, tipping pitches, or they thought it was very unusual because he stared at the pitcher, he stared at the Yankees dugout, he stared at the pitcher, and then he hit a home run, and there was nothing really unusual about it, but everyone was making a scene about, like, oh, he was getting some type of signal.
I want to say that I couldn't believe that they were making a scene about this.
Yeah.
When the pitcher quite literally threw a fucking meatball to Aaron Judge. It doesn't fucking matter if he knew what pitch was coming or not. It was a fucking meatball.
Well, here's the thing. Then it came out that the pitcher said he was tipping his pitches. It was confirmed today that he said that he was tipping his pitches to Aaron Judge, meaning that he was letting Aaron Judge knowing what pitch he was going to throw, which if that was the case, then that would have nothing to do with Aaron. That would have nothing to do with him at all. That would have everything to do with the pitcher being a fucking idiot and letting him know I'm giving you a fastball, and then he gave him a meatball, and then he crushed it. Now, I don't know why the fuck that pitcher said that. This literally all came out an hour and a half ago. So this is all fucking very recent. But essentially, that happened, and then everything was high tension between the two teams, okay? So then the next game happens, and there was a situation where the third base coach for the Yankees is standing too close to the third base side. And the Toronto Blue Jays are screaming at them, and they're going, hey, get the fuck out of here, move out of the way, this and that. So then the Blue Jays manager, John Schneider, says to him, because he's coming back to John along the lines of, like, don't tell me what to do, or, like, I'm standing in the right spot. John goes, shut up, fat boy. And that's what the manager says. And then all the other players on the team, apparently 2 other players on the team, something along the lines like, move, you fat fuck, or something like that. Okay? Here's the kicker. For those of you who don't know, Toronto not only has the fattest team in the MLB, they have the fattest team in the MLB by 300 pounds. They're all fat, okay? Like, the squad is big boy season. So the fact that they're just going around calling other people fat fucks is pretty hypocritical to me. Jesse, you're muted.
That's not fair. They have Kirk and Blake.
No, it's not. It's what it is, though. It's statistical truth. So then after this whole argument ensues and everything pops off and pops down, Later in the game, I believe 2-3 innings later, Aaron Judge comes up, hits a 460-foot moonshot that breaks the maple leaf in dead center field in the field, and then starts winding the bases saying, "I do this shit. I'm that guy," and he talks his shit. So as a Blue Jays fan, I hate to say it, but point Toronto night 1, point Toronto night 2, and they won both games, and they won both of those altercations in my opinion. I hate to say it as a Blue Jays fan, but they babied us at home.
Dylan, you said point Toronto.
Oh, I meant point New York. Point New York.
And then you said that Toronto won both those games, which they did.
Damn it! I meant New York.
Talking about one
I
team
know.
times 2.
I meant New York. But, Jesse, do you have any thoughts on just this entire situation?
This is why the Blue Jays won't make the postseason.
Kiss my ass. We're moving on. Next thing, Josh Naylor, the same man who last year in the playoffs, or not in the playoffs, against New York, hit 2 home runs, a grand slam, and a 3-run homer in the 9th inning and the 11th inning. And he was the first player in MLB history to get 7 RBIs, 2 home runs in the 9th and the 11th. Okay, so people start calling Naylor Mr. Clutch. Then in the playoffs, he was the same guy who hit a go-ahead home run off Garrett Cole, pounded his chest, talking his shit. We talked about that in the podcast in the postseason. Mr. Clutch again. Now, Josh Naylor is the first player in the expansion era since 1961 to hit a go-ahead home run in the 8th inning or later in 3 straight games. He did it against the Angels in all 3 games at home. He had a go-ahead home run in 2 out of the games and another just insurance home run in the 3rd game. But all 3 games hit a home run in the 8th inning. If that isn't fucking clutch, I don't know what is.
That means he marked Ohtani for 1 too late. Unless he was got a really.
I don't think so because I don't think Ohtani was in the 8th.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, fucking, it says a lot about the bullpen, but it also says, I mean, you see somebody do that in the 8th inning or later. I mean, that's clutch. That's the guy you want up to the plate when you are in the 8th or 9th inning. You hope Josh is stepping up to the box.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a player of the week because I was gonna make it Yoshida from last week because he was putting up video game numbers. So I'm just gonna give it to Naylor. That's fucking insane. Congrats, bro. Yeah, you're doing what you're doing. Next thing that we have to talk about is Zach Greinke, the weirdest pitcher in the fucking game, has officially joined the 1,000 batter strikeout club. He's officially struck out 1,000 different batters. He's only the 5th pitcher in history to do so.
If you maybe weren't on a team in our division, I would feel some type of way about you. But
well, the thing is that he's only been a team in our division for like 2 years. So
he's established here. I don't care.
He's gonna retire after this year.
Good. Go away. Congratulations. You did your thing. Yeah.
I still like Greinke just because he's a weird motherfucker and he's fun to watch. But I understand. You got that blue and white blood running through you, and I respect it. Next person I want to talk about is Yuri Perez, and this is why. Out of all the pitchers that I've seen that have been coming up, I think that he is most likely the best to come into this season. Now, everything that I'm about to say, Tyler, try not to get a boner because I know you're going to get pretty excited. 1, this man, Yuri Perez, has not only been the top prospect in all of MLB for pitching for about 2 years now, but he was drafted and immediately went from AA into the MLB after pitching in 44 games, having a 2.85 ERA, 260 strikeouts, a 12.58 K through 9, and a 0.98 whip. He was leading all of AA, and it wasn't even close. So they said, we're not sending you to AAA, we're sending you to the MLB. Then, on top of it, he was MLB's number 9 overall prospect and the Marlins' number 1 overall prospect going into this year. On top of it, he has been training with Sandy Alcantara, the Cy Young winner. And if you look at last year, his stance from last year to this year, his leg movement in terms of bringing his leg up and his mechanics are a lot more similar to Sandy, and he's been able to bring his pitch elevation up. So what I'm trying to say is the Marlins might have just very well found their next Sandy Alcantara, and his name is Yuri Perez. And on top of a bullpen that already has 2 aces, they might have just gotten the 3rd.
I'm rock hard.
I don't know what you expected. Anything else than that?
It was pretty important to me.
Low poking up like this.
I mean, I wouldn't blame him. And he's got that DR heat, and the best part, he's only 20 years old. Can't even grab a beer yet. So hopefully, if he is in that Sandy, I believe
Yeah,
how old is Sandy Alcantara?
I'll get him some beer. You don't gotta worry about that.
Sandy's only 26. So yes, keeping on that young theme, this would be very good for Miami.
Hey, Marlins are gonna be sick.
I will wait, because honestly, the way that they're building their squad, I hope that they are sick, Ty, because they will become a fun team.
Look, remember when the Tigers had like 4 aces on one team? That's what we're about to do with the Miami.
I just hope Soler is still there when it happens because he deserves it.
I agree, and he's still hitting absolute nukes. He had a 470-foot home run last week. 472 feet. Luis Robert Jr., he's officially, in my opinion, the most confusing player in the league because he's been on a roll and he's homered in 4 straight games. And I feel like one day he sucks and he gets benched for not running to first base and not giving a shit about the White Sox and saying, I hate it here. And then the next week he hits 4 home runs in a row. I can't figure this fucker out.
You think he can
I thought that was Tim Anderson that did that.
No, this was all Luis Robert. Luis Robert said, I hate the fucking pitch clock. And everyone thought he said, I fucking hate it here.
Oh. I thought that was Tim Anderson.
Base. No, that was Tim that did that. But Luis Robert is the one who, when he hit the ball. And
wait, it was like, Tim?
Tim Anderson was the one that said, I fucking hate it here, but he was talking about the pitch clock.
Correct, yes.
Luis
was the guy who was jogging to first base, not giving a fuck about
I'm just glad that I didn't confuse that because I was like, I swear.
No, you are correct.
You
are correct. So, my thing is, I can't figure this motherfucker out, Jesse. Do you have anything on him? Because I mean, props to being on a roll, but
he's been weird.
I just don't understand.
He's never been a huge consistency guy.
No. I feel like every time he gets hype built up around him, he immediately diminishes it. And then when he gets back down to, oh my God, Luis, he just hit a fucking home run. Oh, he hit 2 home runs today. Shit. Like, he's weird. He really is. But, I mean, shit. Be consistent enough, I guess. The White Sox are
not being
the White Sox are
form of consistency. I don't know.
Fucking plummeting right now. So
no, the White Sox are nobodies at this point.
They are plummeting right now. So we love to see that. Final thing that I have to talk about is just something that pissed me the fuck off and a little more Detroit disrespect that I don't understand. They released the Cy Young rankings today. Joe Ryan is 5, Ohtani's 4, Gray is 3, McClanahan's 2, and Garrett Cole is 1. Okay? Erod has the second lowest ERA. He leads in K through 9. He leads in WHIP. And he's not in the top 5. And this is just American League.
I don't think.
The fuck? And all the comments made me happy because everyone was going, where the fuck is Erod? He's number 1. Erod's number 2. Erod's number 2.
Garrett Cole isn't even number 1 to me.
And they have Garrett Cole at number 1. Sonny Gray is number 3. He's second in strikeouts and leads in ERA. What the fuck are they smoking here? This is from the Major League Baseball experts.com. Experts in fucking what? Clearly not baseball.
But are they tied to the MLB?
Yes.
Okay.
Pull at MLB.com.
Okay.
So I just thought that was absolutely ridiculous that slander was being put in. But final thing that I want to talk about because I didn't tell Tyler, just because it's a happy thing, okay? The Orioles. I showed Tyler and I showed Jesse both on Twitter. They have their own splash zone. If you hit a double or you hit a triple, all the people are doing the sprinklers out the dugouts. They now have a guy named Mr. Splash who wears floaties, has a hose, and sprays a whole section. And their manager said, hey, we're just going to take this and we're going to make money off it. I think it's a great idea. I think it's great for baseball. Jesse, this is your team, so how do you feel about it?
Great for, them hot days it gets in Baltimore. It would be even better.
Yeah, that makes me want to go to a game, I'm not going to lie. They put up 7-8 runs on a 1 o'clock game. They're like, get me, spray me, Mr. Splash. All right, I should not have said that. We're going to move on to USC.
Hold up, I got one more baseball thing. They should automatically win Zach Gallen the Cy Young Award.
Because he hit him.
Because he was warming up today. Threw a nice meaty curveball. Smoked a bird out of midair. And that bird has moved on from the land of the living.
I saw this shit.
This is true.
That's so funny. I was pissed that there was no video, but I was sitting on the
I
couch
actually
and
found a
Nikki got a
video.
notification. I'm like,
The
what was that?
best
She
is,
goes,
I'm sorry, but
hit a
he said-
bird.
I'm sorry, but the best is he said he was visibly shaken up after the events happened. And I was like, just imagine you're in the dugout and you're like, Zach, what happened, man? And he's like, fuck,
Man,
man.
I killed a bird.
Bird.
I didn't mean to, man. I just Randy Johnson that bird over there. Fuck, man.
I just sent you the video.
All right.
On Twitter.
I would have to say I agree. But without further ado, we have UFC if Luke wants to roll into that.
Yeah, I guess we could.
Well, we haven't talked. We haven't talked since the last UFC event. That was like 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I guess we could just roll right into it. All right, UFC 288. Yeah, everybody. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah. You know, Charles Jourdain defeats Kron Gracie after a 3-round decision.
I was gonna say Jesse did not watch this card. Luke, you barely watched this card, dog. I was like, there's no way Jesse watched this card. I barely watched.
Yeah. But then Movsar Evloev, you know, no one expected this to go into decision. It went to decision because Diego Lopez fought his ass off, but, you know, not enough. But Movsar took the decision win after 3 rounds.
Correct.
Then we had the whole Jessica Andrade and
Here we go.
Jan
This is where I started caring.
It is because I had a really gut feeling that Jan was going to beat Andrade. And, you know, I was like, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know. So I just threw on Andrade in my lay because I was like, you know what, a banger's gonna bang, but I have a really gut feeling that Jan's gonna win this fight, and she did. First round knockout.
Round 1 knocked her.
I picked the wrong banger. Picked the wrong goddamn banger.
I'm happy, bro, because I feel like in my opinion, it's hard to find good contenders right now in the UFC for title pictures. And I feel like Jan is someone that is a really good contender right now.
Yeah. And then after that, we had the Bilal Muhammad and Gilbert Burns fight with Bilal Muhammad taking the decision win after a 5-round fight. You know, I'm not too surprised, but I am because Gilbert Burns is rolling. But at the same time, you fight like 3 fights. You fight 3 fights in the short amount of time that he has. He walked into this fight with about like 20 million fucking injuries all over his body and still went to a 5-round decision. That man's a tank.
After round 1, I believe he had 4 like serious diagnosis injuries, and he basically told his trainers after round 3, he asked if he was still in round 2, and it was just like, Jesus fucking Christ. This guy is out of it. And at the same time, you got to respect Gilbert for continuing to swing the whole round. But you could clearly tell that there was one man who's been preparing for this fight for 3 months, and there's been one man who's been preparing for this fight for 2 weeks. It's hard.
It's not even that. It's the fact that Gilbert Burns has been fighting constantly since the start of the year. This is his 3rd fight this year.
And it's not like he's fighting nobodies. He's fighting top 10, and not even top 10, but like known people. He just fought Jorge Masvidal. You know
They're staying active, and there's almost fighting too much, and Gilbert was fighting too much in a too short of a time span, and that gets you injured. And then you get this, but I mean, that's still a little notch on Muhammad because he couldn't finish a severely compromised Gilbert Burns.
It makes me think that if Gilbert would have waited, he would have been good. But at the same time, I feel like from my perspective, he probably thought this opportunity is only going to pop up now. I got to jump on it now. That's how I think he looked at it.
Yeah, but I mean, he still had a lot of momentum. He could have waited and actually fucking let his body heal.
He should have waited. That's what he should have done.
But then a big shocker for the main event, Aljamain Sterling takes the decision win after 5 rounds on Henry Cejudo, which I thought Henry was going to take this. He's a very skilled, but then you also got to factor in the just the time he's been off, and also the fact that I think there's more people need to start putting some respect on Aljamain Sterling. Like, he's a good fighter.
I don't want to, but
It hurts. It hurts, but he keeps on winning and defying the odds, and he keeps on doing it time and time and time and time and time and time
No!
and time again.
Sugar's gonna knock him out! Stop! Sugar's gonna knock him
Dude.
the fuck out in Boston.
I might lose my voice from screaming so loud if Sugar Sean does it.
Here's where I'm at, okay?
You can't let him get wrapped up on his back.
Luke, here's where I'm at, okay? Last fight was strike 1, okay? Cejudo, this is strike 2. If O'Malley loses, that's strike 3, and I have no choice but to respect and support Sterling. I have to. He if he beats O'Malley, then okay. But if O'Malley knocks him the fuck out, I will be right behind you, cussing this motherfucker out. I swear to God.
I won't even be cussing. I'll just be screaming on the top of my lungs.
Because it has been made in
to
Boston
the point where I lose my
291.
voice because I've been back in the Sugar Show since day one, and I want to see this man to become champ.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is I think Cejudo, they said that he was already going to have another fight that was going to be in the talks. And my thing about Henry is that he looked like somebody that after the first couple rounds, you just had that suspicion of, oh, he can still get back into it by the 4th or the 5th. And then he just continued to, no, there's another good shot by Sterling. No, Henry, you gotta get back into it now. And he just continued to never get back
One
into
of the best moments of this fight was after the fight when McGregor posted a coaching video basically making fun of Henry. And that was just fucking hilarious because Henry loves to do those videos on other fighters and everything. I think he did one for McGregor,
Mm-hmm.
and then McGregor fired back with that one, just making fun of him basically. And that was fucking fun.
No, that was good. I'm not gonna lie, I hate to say it, but it wasn't a bad card. But out of all the pay-per-views so far, this would probably be at my bottom of the barrel list because I just felt like there wasn't a whole lot of excitement going into it. There wasn't a whole lot of anticipation for the UFC card, and hopefully we can change that around with Amanda.
Well, there was less excitement going into the fight night that happened this past weekend.
I only care about the co-main.
Right? That's how I was feeling.
I only care about the co-main. That's it. It's the only fight.
I'm so mad that Anthony Smith lost to Johnny Walker in a 3rd round decision, but you know it happens.
Are we really gonna pay $70 just to watch Beneil Dariush fight Charles Oliveira?
But the Irishman, Ian fucking Gary.
Oh yeah.
Another 1st round knockout against Daniel Rodriguez
insane.
Move to 12-0. And I also want to mention the fact on this card, there was a 14-second knockout in the prelims. Brian Battle knocked out Gabe Green within 14 seconds of the 1st round.
Oh, I love Brian. That's my Ultimate Fighter boy. He won the Ultimate Fighter. I love him. Let's go.
Yeah, that man smoked him within 14 seconds of the fight started. Yeah. But you know, I mean, gotta say it. Rosenstruck lost by submission to Jilton Almeida
in his 748th
in the 1st round. Yeah. I mean, he's only 13-5. There's a lot of fighters that have fought a lot more fights. Like, you want to be honest, Anthony Smith is 36-18.
At this point, he's just doing it because he has to. It's not because he wants to.
He just loves the pain, I guess.
Yeah, that must be it.
But speaking of the UFC, this does not have anything to do with the events, but it has to be announced because it just got released. I think it was either this morning or last night at 12 or just yesterday. But McGregor Forever, a 4-episode series, is now available on Netflix, and I am just partly through the 3rd episode.
Yeah, we know you're all over that shit. And also, hey, May 29th is the Ultimate Fighter, and that's
true. That is true.
That's like 12 days away.
Episode 1 covers the Khabib fight. Episode 2 covers the Cerrone fight, and then 3 and 4 are both Dustin Poirier fights.
Damn, they have any fights that he won?
I mean, no.
Just the Cerrone fight?
Yeah, just the Cerrone. But you also kind of find out why there's a lot of things why he hasn't fought that much. Dude was trying to stay active a lot after the Cerrone fight, but the UFC was just not giving him the fights, and that's why he ultimately went through that phase of retiring and then trying to fight Poirier in a charity fight. And then he forced the UFC hands like, okay, if you two are going to agree to fight, we're just going to have you fight in the UFC.
Right. Okay. I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people that are into UFC will definitely check that shit out.
Yeah,
All right.
but that's all we got for UFC.
I mean, that's all we got for the podcast. So, next time that we will talk to you beautiful people will hopefully be next Wednesday. And at that point, you know that playoffs are going to be in full fucking effect. We might even be looking at a possible, some people in the Cup, some people in the NBA Finals, shit, depending on where we're at. So we'll have to see where that is. Also, MLB will continue as it releases, and we'll see if there's any other news that pops in next week. So, you know what to do. Go over to the socials on Twitter at RabbitTide586 and on Instagram at RabbitTide586. Give that shit a follow. Check out our content. Make sure you like it. Make sure you go on to all of our videos and any type of new shit. You can find out what's happening over there. If you want to go over to YouTube at Roger Tide Sports Podcast, give us a subscribe, like the videos. We would really appreciate that as much as going over on the Twitch and going over to Roger Tide Sports Podcast, following that as well. We really appreciate it. If you want to check out sports betting, make sure you're doing all of it over on Sharp. If you want some merch, make sure you go over to Six Pack Coverage. We will see you next week. Have a great night.